Hey, Nostradamus. Howdy, howdy. Give a minute for some people to get in here because you're the only one here at the moment. I have a live stream of one. Uh, Here's what I think is interesting. If I talk about a mundane topic, about nothing, about just BSing, talking about what I'm doing here, any of that type of stuff, no problems with a live stream. All fine, no issues. The minute I talk about something that will make people uncomfortable, the minute I talk about something that'll make people think, right? That's when I have issues with YouTube. Yeah, that's when I have issues. And so what were we talking about, right? We're talking about things that makes people they don't want you to think. They like I said, they heaven forbid that you use this gray matter between your ears to think about something to go, well, wait a minute, that makes sense, or I don't like the way that they're doing this, or I don't like the way that they're doing that. So I find it very, very interesting that because we were going in a direction in that conversation that they did not like I said, it's about manipulation. It's always about manipulation. Why do you think they control the news? I mean, I want you to think about it really, okay? If you go to a different country and listen to the news and they're talking about the US, right? They have a whole different spin on their news than the news that we get here in the States. I have a dear friend of mine. She moved to Canada years ago. Years ago, she met a guy, went up there. Now she's married, and settled down in Canada. And she ended up raising her kids. Our kids were young, and so they all went up there. And she'll tell me, she goes, it's so bizarre to listen to the news up here and what they're saying about the states. When I lived there, she grew up here. She was here for all her younger life, and she goes, it was wild. It was absolutely wild. And so we are fed what they want us to hear. Think about that, okay? So you don't think it's about control, right? Like I said, it's about three things, guys: control, power, money. If they can keep us, and this is another thing that I think that a lot of people don't rationalize and don't think about. If they can keep us, right, the masses fighting amongst each other over what color we are, right, over what religion we are, over what pronouns we want to be called, right? If they can keep us all fighting among, or if you're a Democrat or Republican, right? There's another great thing that's been used really, really well lately. If they can use these things to keep us at odds with each other, we will never, ever, ever focus on the real problem, which is two things, guys. Real problem is two things. It is big government in big business, because that's who controls everything. And if you think the government is the one that's on top, you're sadly mistaken. Big business is on top. Look at Jamie Dimon, great example. He's been the CEO for over 20 years. Been the CEO for over 20 years. So these guys, they get in power and they have a lot of influence and they have a lot of money and they can do a lot of different things. And so there is, they are the ones that set policy. They're the ones that are out there doing the different things that they're doing. And, you know, um, yeah, united stand, divided we fall. Exactly. And like I said, as long as they can keep us fighting over stupid little things that really don't matter, okay? At the end of the day, it does not matter what color you are. But the thing is, if you have bought into, right? If you've bought into, because you're this color, you're a victim. So you're angry, you're upset, I mean, the worst thing realistically, if you want to put it, who's the bad guy all the time? The bad guy all the time is straight white males. That's it. We're the bad guy. Straight white males, we're the bad guy. Everybody else can play the victim card. If you're gay, you can be a victim. You know, if you're whatever religion, you can play the victim because you're being persecuted because of your religion. You know, so you and or you know, like I said, you know, oh, life isn't fair. You know what? Life isn't fair. It sucks sometimes, but it always comes down to your determination, your willpower. Look at all the opportunities that are available in this country. If you put in the hard work and effort, you can accomplish anything that you want to accomplish. And a lot of people don't grasp that because they're too busy being a victim. One of the things that I've always talked about, and I want to talk about this a little bit so you guys kind of understand where my mindset is and where I come from. Yesterday is dead and gone. Not a darn thing you're going to ever do to change the past. All right. We all have a past. Some, you know, have had good pasts, some have not. But if you are in the mindset of, I'm not successful and I didn't do this or I didn't do that because of what happened back here, you're full of crap. And that's the victim mentality. Exactly, John. That's the victim mentality. What you, everyone, everybody watching this live stream, myself included, right? What we have complete and total control for the most part over is what happens right now and moving forward. We are all the captains of our own ship, of our own destiny. We can make whatever decisions we want to do, good, bad, or indifferent. And it's taking personal responsibility, right? I love it when people, this is, I'll give you an example, right? I smoke pot because of this. This is why I do it, right? They got an excuse. Everybody's got an excuse. I need to do this because, and then they come off with their excuse. Excuses are lame. I hate excuses. All right. Take responsibility for your actions. All right. If you're going nowhere in life and you're accomplishing nothing in life, what you need to do is sit down in front of that mirror, look in that mirror, and say, okay, what am I doing? Where am I going? And where do I want to go? And I'll tell you what, I had that conversation with myself a long time ago. Okay. Now I've made some bad choices since then. Okay. I have. It happens. You know, I mean, you fall in love, you think it's forever, you know, you end up having a couple of kids, and then the next thing you know, it doesn't work out and you got to go on with your life, and now you're single and maybe you're raising the kids or the other one's raising the kids, however, and there's that dynamic to deal with, and all those type of things. But you know, again, what direction or what road you're going to take in life is completely up to you. Completely up to you. So um Ed, yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, today is a gift. Yeah, that's why they call it a present. Exactly, JJ. Every day's a blessing. And it's what you do with it, how you deal with it, what you want to do with it is all comes down to your choices in life, what you want to do. Always has been, always will be. And I just, you know, like I will give you an example. There was four of us growing up together, right? There was my sister, myself, and I had two cousins. We're all within 2 years age difference of each other. Like I am 15 months older than my sister. My cousin Doug is 2 months older than me, and my cousin Terry is like 15 months older than both of us. So, you know, we all grew up together. I was always the black sheep. Okay. I was the one that, you know, was not ever supposed to accomplish anything. And I remember my mom had a really dear friend of hers, and they would get together and they would have lunch, and you know, so she would be telling them everything what was going on and stuff. And when I turned my life around, when I decided to pull my head out of my behind, which I did at 27 years of age, I you know, and then I started doing, you know, becoming successful, and things were going in a better direction for me and stuff like that. And mom sat down with him, and he's long gone now. Bernie's long gone. Real good guy though. Um, she was like, "You're not going to believe this, you know. Eddie's a nurse and he's doing well and blah blah blah." And he literally was like, "Eddie's doing good." She goes, "Yeah, he's the one that's doing the best of everybody." But I wasn't supposed to. You see what I'm saying? They had already like, we got to, we're throwing him away because he's done. You know what I mean? The choices that he's made, and I made a lot of bad choices, folks. And I'm not bragging about it. I did a lot of stupid things, things that I'm not proud of that I would not do now. But I can't change them. That again is the past. Like I had my mom say to me one time. She goes, "Do you ever think about, all the people that you hurt and the bad things that you did and stuff like that?" And I go, "No, not at all." She goes, "You don't?" And I go, "No, Ma, because I can't change that. That's gone. That's who I used to be back in the day." I said, once I decided to change my path, from that moment on, I became somebody completely different. So, it's yeah, it made me who I am exactly. What my life experiences and the things that have happened to me ended up making me who I am now. And I'm strong-minded. I'm a very opinionated person. So I mean, I'll never not deny that. You know what I mean? But like I said again, it's always comes down to, folks. Always comes down to choices. Comes down to three things, right? Comes down to three things: people, places, and things. And this is what I tell. I used to tell any young kid that'll listen to me. If I'm talking to them, I always tell them the same thing. It comes down to three things: people, places, and things. It's the people you're hanging out with, okay? It's the things that you are doing, and in the places that you are. So if you are in the wrong place at the right time with the wrong people, you can get jammed up. Like if you're in a car, right? You're in a car. There's four of you in a car, and what you're one, you're hanging with a rougher crowd, and so your buddy says, "Hey, I'm going to stop at this liquor store and grab some liquor." So he goes inside. Well, now he decides to rob that liquor store, and maybe he shoots and kills the liquor store owner, and then he comes running back out, and he's got the money, he's got booze, and he jumps in the car. You're now an accessory to murder, so you're going to get charged if they catch you. Okay, you're going to get charged just like everybody else that was in that car. Why? Because you were there. You might not have pulled the trigger. You may not even known it was going to happen. They don't want to hear that. They're not going to give you a break and, oh, poor you. They might try to turn one of you to testify against the rest of you. They may do something like that, but that's how it goes. So the people that you're hanging out with is number one. So if you're hanging out with a loser crowd, let's just say we'll call that a loser crowd, that's who you're going to be associated with. That's what people are going to look at, you, and make decisions based on you. I'm going to give you a great example. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. So I was living in the city of Rochester, and this is going back, guys. This is going way back. And I was working in an adult bookstore. Okay, so porno shop. I worked at that porno shop for 10 months. The staffing um, was mostly gay or lesbian, and the clientele was mostly gay that would come into those bookstores. All right, I mean, mostly. Uh, Well, I had the one girl that I hung out with there was a seriously butch lesbian, but she was cool as could be. Me and her got along great. She'd be like, we would, because they had the street was outside. It was like Monroe Avenue, if anybody knows Rochester. North End News. So if anybody's from the Rochester area and you've heard of North End News, I worked there when I was much, much younger. So anyway, we would be looking out the window and she'd be like, "Oh my God, Ed, check her out." And I'd be like, "Oh my God, yes, that, super hot chicks walking, that type of stuff." Well, there was a club up in Rochester called Club Marcella. Okay. And it was a gay bar. And they did drag shows like every Sunday. So they were like, "Hey, Ed, you want to come to the drag show?" I'm like, "Yeah," because I've always been open minded. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go." So I would go. Well, I actually ended up working at that gay club as a bouncer for a while when I was younger. Okay. And so here's a joke for you. What do you call a bouncer at a gay club, right? It's called a flamethrower. That's kind of a fun joke for you guys, so just so you know. But anyway, so my sister. So the moral of the story, I'm going to tell you. So working in an adult bookstore. Most of the people that I'm working with are homosexual or lesbian. Um, every Sunday, I'm going to this Club Marcella, right? Hanging out there, having a blast. I mean, it was a good time. And so my sister comes to me and she says, Ed, I want to talk to you. And I went, okay. She goes, I just want you to know, you know, if you're gay, it's okay with me and I don't have a problem with it. I go, what are you talking about? Right? I'm like, she goes, you're not gay? And I went, no. And she goes, well, I just assumed because you were hanging out with all these gay people and you're going to the gay club. She goes, I just thought you were gay. And I went, no, Beck. So again, it's a perception, right? People see what they want to see. So if you're doing things and you're going to places, people are going to judge you based on that. I will tell you this, and I will tell you this is another true story. I was very, very shy growing up. And anybody that knows me now would say, no way, you were never shy. But I was very, very shy. Never dated in high school. I had zero self confidence. I have a little bit more now. But so what happened was um, working in that bookstore and dealing with it, I got hit on constantly, but by men. Okay. I mean, constantly. And I was never like some guys get all freaked out and they're like, oh my God, the gay guy hit on me. I always took it as a compliment. I said, hey, they think I'm good looking enough that they would be interested. They're going to take their shot. Let them take their shot. Good for them. Right. So I just started thinking to myself, I said, if all these gay dudes think that I'm so hot, women have to like me as well. I need to start asking women out. Well, I was working out at this gym. So I was going to the gym, and then I actually ended up when I left the adult bookstore, I went to the gym and became an instructor at the gym. And I'm like, I'm just going to start asking these girls out, and I'm talking women, guys, out of my league. I'm like, I got no shot, but I don't care. I'm going to take a chance because I got into the mindset of this. I said, I'm going to ask them out. If they say no, I just have to look at it. They missed an opportunity to go out with a nice guy. That's the way I had to look at it mentally. So it was never like, oh, I can't handle rejection and oh, poor me. No. But then what I was finding out was most of these women were like, yeah, I'll go out with you. And I can honestly, guys, and this is the weirdest part. I remember in the beginning when I really still didn't have a lot of confidence, I'd get their number and stuff, and I'd go on about what I was doing, and I'd be like, "Holy crap! I can't believe that they said yes." I mean, that's how little confidence I had, and but like I said, I attribute my confidence to gay guys because gay guys hit on me all the time. I mean, my whole life, wherever I was always getting hit on. I'm pretty. What can I do? I can't help it, guys. It's tough. Just give it. It's I always that's I used to always say. I said I can't go to prison. I said because I'm way too pretty to go to prison. Now I got older and bigger, and so nobody cares anymore. But that's okay. But anyway, again, people are going to have their preconceived notions about you. Okay, yeah, I'm too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts. Right said Fred. Look it up. Anyway, yeah. Uh, so you got me started singing now, JJ. Now we're really gone off the rails. Gone off the rails. So we got 189 in the chat. We got 72 thumbs up, guys. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate it. It really does make a huge difference with the algorithms. So I thank you for that reason also as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe to make sure you hit the bell icon to get all notifications as well. And thank you. So, but I'd look at all the people in the chat. We care about you, and we would not be here. No, I appreciate that. Like I said, I got my confidence, and then I just went on and lived my life, and you know, and I've had a good life. I mean, ups and downs, bumps in the road, things happen. Overall, I've had a fantastic life, and I have zero complaints. Am I filthy, stinking rich? No, but that's not always happiness. You know what I mean, guys? That's being filthy rich. Those people are probably some of the most miserable people out there. They're very unhappy people. To me, you know, I have my slice of heaven, and that's what this is to me. I have my peace. I'll go out and I'll do what I got to do, as far as working and stuff goes. But when I come home, I have my peace. And, I got the dogs, and, it's wonderful. I mean, and I'm very, very blessed, and I know that I am. So, like I said, yeah, I'm a cancer survivor on top of that. So, July will be 10 years. So I'm really, really happy about, yeah, it's the little things. I'm going to tell you what, being in the medical field for so long and seeing what I've seen throughout the years, if you don't have your health, you have nothing. Okay. So that, hey, the Oversphere, you're taking Gen X generation. Oh, you're talking Gen X generation. I got lucky with most Gen X women. No millennial, just one Zoomer girl. Different times. Technology has really shifted the dating and mating market. It's getting worse. Oh, yeah, you're right. It has. Absolutely, it has. Um, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for the statement, and thank you very much for the donation. I will tell you what. When my ex-wife and I went our separate ways, I didn't date for 2 years. I couldn't date for 2 years. I just wasn't there. Okay. And then when I started dating again, it was difficult because I had my kids later in life. So, there was that. So I had the kids later in life. So I was 36 years old when my kids were born. So by the time I got into my 40s, I had little kids. Where most people, their kids, women wise, they're out there in a dating pool, their kids are grown and gone. They want to go. They want to go do stuff. They don't want to get involved with somebody that has kids. I always said I had three strikes. I had three strikes against me in the dating world. Number one, I still had kids as I was getting older. So that was number one. That was number one. Number two was I live off grid. Okay. And so a lot of people don't get that. They don't understand it, and it freaks people out. And so the ladies don't want to get involved with you, because you live that lifestyle. And then there was the kiss of death. The kiss of death was I had an autistic child, and Eddie was not always well behaved, and when it was stuff that had to be dealt with immediately. When something happened, it had to be dealt with immediately. And so they didn't want to even bother. Most women did. I dated a nurse for a while, and I thought, well, because she's a nurse too, she'll get it. As soon as Eddie started having a couple of tantrums, she was out. She was gone. So it happens, and that was okay. And then I just said, well, once the kids are grown and gone, then I'll do my thing. Ed, when I looked at women, they assume I'm a sick person. That's why guys like myself aren't married or dating. Different world now. I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's tough. And it's unfortunate because a lot of women are passing on decent men because of preconceived notions or what they think they want. So, but if someone said if you're rich or poor, you both died the same hospital gown, no money. Yeah, I always told people I'm going to go to the grave with the same amount of money as John D. Rockefeller went with, zero. Money is not the end all be all. Like I said, it's peace, it's serenity, surrounding yourself with good people that lift you up and not bring you down. Like I don't have time for negativity. I just don't. Life is too short. I don't hate anybody because, again, I'm not going to waste my energy on hating somebody. Now, there's people I have dealt with and worked with that I did not care for, okay? But I didn't hate them. If I didn't like somebody or I didn't care for somebody, I just avoid them. I don't bother with them. I'm not going to get caught up in the drama. I'm not going to get caught up in the he said, she said, and all that other nonsense. I'm just not going to do it. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. Again, going back to what we were talking before, them wanting to divide us, okay? If they can keep us fighting amongst ourselves, we will never focus on the real problem, which again is two things: big business and the government that wants complete and total control of what we do, how we live our life, what we can and what we cannot do. That's insanity. That is insanity. Okay. And it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. And it's never going to change. It's never going to change until people. And the worst part is, let's say we rose up like we did against England, right? Against the UK, and we rose up and said, we're not doing this anymore. And we got rid of them. And then we said, we're going to self govern and be our own government and do our own thing. And what happens over time? Over time, there's going to be corruption, there's going to be greed. When you give people power, a lot of times, and I've seen it, guys, I've seen it through the years. You give somebody that little bit of power and it goes to their head, and it's not a good thing. Like, I'm in control. You have to do what I say. And that's why I told you, I've never been about with a job, any job. Two things you're not going to do. All right. You're not going to belittle me in front of other people, number one. And number two, you're never going to talk down to me. Yeah, it's okay, baby. It's okay. She heard something out there, so sounded like a four wheeler. Hold on one second. Let me just check that real quick. Come here. Here. Good girl. Yeah, that's okay, baby. That's out on the road. That was just loud. That was just loud. You're a good girl. Oh, have you met any homosexual, lesbian preppers and homesteaders? Oh, of course, through the years, absolutely, absolutely. But like I said, I've never been one to judge anybody for who they love and who they are. I don't care. If they're a good person, see, here's my criteria. Here's my criteria. You're a good person. You take care of your business. You're not an a-hole to other people. That's what it's all about for me. So if you're cool with me, I'm going to be cool with you. End of story. And I don't care. Like I said, I don't care what religion you are. I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care what color you are. Never have. That's just, I take everybody on an individual basis. Yes, I know. Now you're going to be a pain. No, you're a good girl. She slept last night so good. I mean, she slept like a freaking rock. Um, so she's been getting tired out. Oh, puppies are tiring you out, aren't they? Yes, you're a good girl. So, but anyway, okay, down you go. Good girl. All right, we got to do egg count, guys. All right, well, before we do that, let's do this. We got 220 in the chat. We got 100 thumbs up. So again, if you have not shot a thumbs up, please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate that ahead of time. It makes a real big difference with the algorithms as well. So the more interaction, the better for the channel. So I appreciate that. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And I thank you for that as well. Okay, how many eggs today? And yes or no for Miss Betty White. I'll let you guys get your guesses in, and we will go from there. I'll give you guys a moment to get your guesses all in, and I will let you know who the winner is. Ah. But like I said, yeah, I just try to do my thing. I try to treat people with respect and dignity. And if they don't do that back, then I just don't have nothing to do with them. Like I said, I just don't have the time or energy to waste on negativity. I just don't. And don't get me wrong, I think we all get to a point where at times where we feel sorry for ourselves. I'm guilty of that too. But you got to pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you get going again. So, all right. It took a while for her to get the right answer today, but if you had the same exact guess as Malachi's Corner, which is Kim, with two eggs today and no for Miss Betty White. So only two eggs today. Lazy chickens. So congratulations, Malachi's Corner. You are the winner. You've won absolutely nothing, but you are happy about it. So there we go. So that's a good thing. So, but yeah, it's just I want to go back with what time we got about 12 more minutes left. I want to go back to what we were originally talking about before the first one went. Um, how will people react? Okay. Again, there's going to be that small window of opportunity that I talked about to be able to do something to get yourselves where you need to go. Um, my mindset has always been this: things go completely nuts, I'm not going near any store. I'm not making any last minute stops. And if I was driving and something happened and there was a convenience store or something, right? And it wasn't busy, I might stop in and grab some more stuff just because that's what I would do. I would try to prioritize what do I need, and do that. So that is something that I absolutely would do. But other than that, absolutely not. Because what will happen is in very short order, once people realize things are really, really bad, those grocery stores, Lowe's, Home Depot, Tractor Supply, pharmacies, any of those type of places, it's going to be a very, very dangerous place to be. Because I have said before, and I really want you to listen to this part because this is really, really important. The most dangerous person in a true SHTF event, the most dangerous person is the one that is desperate and scared, okay? Because they are capable of anything and you don't know. You don't know. So you have to really realize there's a lot of danger out there in those type of situations. So my advice would be stay away from those things. That's why we prep. That's why we prepare so that we don't have to make that last minute stop. We can go, okay, we're good. We're going to be okay. I got what I need. And then you do what you got to do. So those are things that I want you to think about. Again, have the biggest thing I think, like there's an order of things to me, the way I have always approached preparedness, getting ready, and all that type of stuff. The first number one thing is you have to have a game plan. That's what you got to have first, more than anything else. Where am I going? What am I going to do? Who are the people that I'm surrounding myself with? Okay, in that type of situation. So that's number one. You have to think about that. That's why, and I've talked about this before, and I've talked about it a million times. I'll mention it a million more. You're going to have a group. Two things are going to happen, folks. Guaranteed, 100% after a true SHTF situation. Okay, guaranteed. Number one, you will end up being part of a group. That's one thing that will happen. And the other thing is, if you are not part of a group, you will be dead. Those are the two things. Those are your choices. So to me, the way that I have always looked at it, I would rather put my group together now, right? Get the people that I want to get in here. You weed out the people that don't belong, that you don't want, you know, to be around you. There's always going to be an attrition. You're going to have people that are going to come, they're going to go. It's going to happen. But if you can end up with a core group of people that are there, they want to be part of it, they want to, be involved. You forge those relationships. You become like another family. I would rather choose now who I want to be around with when things go sideways. Now, the other part of this is this, okay? When things do go sideways, you will end up with people in your group that you did not expect to end up with, okay? That I will tell you right now. There will be people that will go, "Hey, we're decent people, we would like to join you, and those type of things." You're going to add people in that bring something to the table, okay? That's going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen. So we have our group members here in our group, and we have our people that we've been doing it, we've been preparing, we've been getting ready, we've been trying to put things together. And so there's a lot to it, okay? So that's why we put together a game plan. This is what we want to get accomplished, this is what we want to do. Ed, if you look at some of the people in Walmart, you know the condition of our society. Yeah, no kidding. You think so, Tony? Absolutely. Absolutely. But so that's important. Okay. So realize that your group that you have, it will expand. Now, you're going to need people that are, you're going to need younger people, right? A lot of the people that are in my prepping group, okay, I'll give you an example. Most of us are older. And when I say older, I'm talking 40 plus, most of the people, because we've lived life, we've seen what's going on. Younger people, for the most part, don't have that vision. They can't see it. They're so focused on, living in the moment. And but when the time comes, they're going to be like, "Oh crap." Okay? So, I'm skeptical about SHTF in the greatest country in the world. Don't be, because it can happen in a blink of an eye. Anything can happen in the blink of an eye. Uh, I bet people in Rome thought the same thing. Oh, Rome, we're the greatest power in the world, right? Greatest power in the world. Nothing's going to happen to us. Look what happened. So, and just so you guys know that aren't thinking along those lines, we are the modern day Rome. That's who we are. We are the modern day Rome. Yeah, look what happened in North Carolina. Exactly. Um, Things can change in the blink of an eye. The direction of your life can change in the blink of an eye. But again, like I said, if you're surrounding your, yeah, Hiroshima, yeah, I bet they weren't thinking that something like that was going to happen, were they? Nagasaki, same situation. One day you're walking to work, and then the next day you're evaporated. So, but again, the unknown is the unknown. We prepare, we get ready, we do what we can. When the time comes, we deal with it at that point. And with all this AI push, will that destroy this country? It could be a significant thing with that. It really could be. I mean, you know, artificial intelligence is developing way faster, and it's going to be way smarter than we are. And when you have an entity that can have independent thought, that can be very, very scary. And so, could that turn into something else? It absolutely could. I mean, we've all seen the movie, right, with Skynet and the whole thing. And Skynet became self aware and realized that the real threat was mankind. So they wanted to wipe out mankind. Those type of things are things that could happen. And, you look at right now what's going on. you know they're making these robots more and more lifelike. They have these robots that can do all kinds of things. And the thing is, with the robots don't need to sleep, they don't need to eat. They can just go and go and go. As long as they have a power cell and a power source, they can go and go and go. So, but remember in 2003, the big power blackout in Ontario, Canada, and New York? Nobody seen or expected that one. No, they did not, John. You are correct about that. And I remember that as well. I remember that as well. I can hear the Terminator music right now. Luke said that's too funny. But these are, reality is reality. So I'm a big believer in not burying my head in the sand, looking at the possibilities of things that could happen, and then doing what I can do to prepare for those to get things ready. What do you think about using an outside shed for food preps? Uh, if you can, it's just that you're going to have to realize that certain things need to be temperature controlled. It's going to make, if you have an outside shed, you can use that. It is, but it's going to cut down on the life expectancy of that food. That's what you have to realize. If you can get something in a climate controlled area, which would be underground, either a root cellar or a bunker, do that. Have that underground, and your constant temperature of 58 degrees, which is important, and your food is going to last, and you're not going to have to worry about weather conditions or anything with that. So, but yeah, a real SHTF situation won't be like the movies, right? It would be, like I said, it would be, think of your worst nightmare and then times it by 100. That's what a true SHTF situation is going to be. So, excellent question. What about freeze dried? Buried. Well, freeze dried foods. It's again, you want to try to keep it if you can in a temperature control situation. If you can do that. So it's like I said, it's just going to make the food last that much longer. Freeze dried food though, it's got a tremendous shelf life, but you don't want to put it out in a garage where it's 120 degrees in the summertime. I mean, it just again, keeping things safe, keeping things contained and controlled, rodent proof. That's a big one. Making sure, that's why we went and got these 50-gallon barrels, folks. uh, Mice and rats are not chewing through a 50-gallon barrel. They're not doing it. Okay. But if I just have stuff in a box, well, yeah, they can get into that. So, those are things that you plan, you hope, you prepare, and then you just see what happens. But again, lights go out and they're going to stay out. It's going to be very, very difficult. It's not going to be an easy situation. Again, I'll tell you my game plan because it's never deviated. It's never changed. Once something bad goes on, everybody gets here and we hunker down. That's it. And if somebody comes here with bad intentions, then bad intentions is what they're going to get. The reason we have been doing everything that we have been doing is to prepare for that type of situation. So hopefully we'll have plenty of medical supplies. Hopefully we'll have plenty of food. Hopefully we'll have several different power sources and people will have their buildings squared away and set up so that they can survive regardless of what time of year it is. And that's what it's about. It's just preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. And that's all we can do. But I've always said I do not have a whole lot of faith in mankind. So I believe something will happen? Absolutely. Do I have my thoughts on what I think it will be? I do. Does that mean that's what the event will be? No, it could be any number of things. So you can't just go, well, I'm going to prepare for this and this alone because nothing else matters. Well, everything else matters because you don't know. So, it's just doing the best you can with whatever opportunities that you have, and that's all we can do, guys. That's all we can do. I mean, you could be prepped up great, and then you didn't prepare for that flood that comes through and destroys everything that you had prepared for. Again, those type of things, natural disasters are going to happen. You look at Southern Prepper One; he was dealing with down in his area forest fires. So, he probably wasn't thinking that that could be something that could happen. Ed up here, the hospitals in two areas had to move vent patients to one bigger hospital because the hospitals had zero power. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Yeah, and again, like I said, things can change in the blink of an eye, and it's how we deal with them, what our game plan is. And I'm going to leave you with this thought, guys. Okay, the reason that we do what we do, right? Why do we prepare? Why do we have a game plan and all that type of stuff? When an event happens, most people are going to be running around like a chicken with their head cut off. That's what they're going to be running around with no game plan, not knowing what to do, and in complete panic mode. Okay. But us as preppers, we are going to be upset like everybody else is going to be, but we have a plan. We have a directive that we know what we are going to do. So you're not going to have to think about what to do. You already know what to do. That's why we have a game plan. So it happens, okay, families meeting here, right? Everybody knows what your kids, everybody. You need everybody on board in that type of situation. So you got a game plan, you know what you're going to do, and you put it into action, and you're going to be better off for it. So just putting that out there. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully these type of live streams are going to help you too, make you think. I want you to think. Again, it's all about just doing the best that we can. And like I said, we're getting things done here. Adding 8 more fruit trees is awesome because it gives us a viability long term when things go sideways. Now we got 8 more trees that once they're completely mature, we're going to get a tremendous amount of fruit from, and it's going to make a difference for us. So, anyway, guys, I'm going to jump off. I hope you all are doing well. Keep prepping, take care of your business. I appreciate you all. I love doing these live streams, and I really have a lot of fun with them. And hopefully, we learn something and we share, and that's what it's all about. All right. I will talk to you all later. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse One out for now.